Hey there, everybody. This is Eugene, and I'm coming at you from my own garden today. And I'm doing that because when I did a video about our Lakeshore West garden tour, one of the viewers said, "Hey, you were pretty quick on your tour of your own garden. Why don't you give us a slower tour?" So I'm going to do that for you today. May was quite cooler than normal here, and part of June as well. But the last few days have been extremely hot, and you could see the stress from the heat and the sun on this giant hosta. Around our house, we have various mosaics. My wife Sheila Gregory and I do these together. This one has been, probably a dozen years or so at least, has been hanging out here. And there's another one over here as well, butterfly. There's a couple more mosaics up there by the window. This sculpture is by Scott Childs, a sculptor who's living in Halliburton, Ontario. And here's another sculpture. This one is made by Jacob Urex. And in front of it, you see what's left of our flowering quince. This was a much more robust plant that had a really bad year here, but it's recovering, and I think it's going to be okay. I wanted to point out this hanging basket we have here, not so much for what's inside it, but for how it hangs. We're going to see if we can look up into the locust tree, and we basically threw the rope, the twine, whatever it is, over a tree branch tied to a piece of firewood in order to get that hanging, and we keep that hanging all winter. We have a little seating area. I like to come out here and play my fiddle. Out here it's pretty pleasant in amongst all the plants. You see on the ground, all this brown stuff is pollen, and that pollen comes from our honey locust tree, which has a dominant spot here in the garden. I love these primrose. I think I got them from our neighbor across the street, but she says she got them from us. This strange auger-like object here we bought at a place called Nice Old Stuff in Jarvis, Ontario. Purveyors of the best nice old stuff you could ever imagine. We get a lot of our best odds and ends there that we like to turn into things that make our garden happy. Have a look at our serviceberry. This is a particularly good serviceberry for berries. And you know, I bought this for like $5 at the front of a box store many years ago, and it's become really the anchor of this garden. I plant veggies in this little strip here because when they did construction next door, they took down some trees and left me a sunny spot. So I've got 3 tomato plants this year. There's some dill. There's some catnip in there. My garlic patch is over here. These roses, you know, we don't really know a lot about roses, and so we don't do anything much special. And this one just insists on being great. And beside it, this is a coneflower. And this is going to grow another couple of feet tall before it blooms. Here, at Veggies and Container Gardens, lots of lettuce. This year, loads of cilantro because I eat it just about every day. There's some mint, some Swiss chard. There's some kind of Swiss chard bug. Does anyone know what to do about that? Look what it's doing to this poor innocent Swiss chard. There's another one tucked in here that's in better shape. What happens every year is that by about July, the bug dies off and the Swiss chard starts to thrive. But early on in the season, every single year we have this problem. Maybe you can tell us what to do to fix it. That would be great. I'm gonna take us into the back now. You know, we have a lot of perennials in the garden, but we do have peppered around various annuals like this Rex begonia, which just provides a big shot of color. Amazingly, we still have some peonies blooming. Usually at garden tour time, they're just about finished, but they're tailing off now. Come on, let's go in the back. When they were doing construction next door, we got hold of some camo netting, and just to make the construction go away. And we've kept it up there. Shed and the wood pile went in during the pandemic here, as did the catio. Cat's out yet? I don't know. I don't see anyone out there. They have a tunnel here that goes underneath the deck into the basement. This area here is one of the brighter areas in the backyard, and at one point I attempted to try a vegetable garden here, but wasn't very successful at all. It's just a little bit too shady. My neighbor, Bart, has made a window that we can open up between our two properties. We can chit-chat. We have all kinds of sculptural stuff around the garden. Don't have too much to say about that. This buggy seat. Let's come around here. We have some unique structures in the yard we call imagination stations. Here's one of them. I made them to house the supernatural beings because, well, you know, they need to live too. We've got a little inside and outside. And as we accumulate garden waste, a lot of it goes back onto the imagination stations here in the garden. During the Lakeshore West garden tour, the plant in our garden that garnered the most number of questions was this one here, with these pale pink blooms and these dark, what would you call it, brownish red, or purpley red leaves. It's a cut leaf elderberry, and it's a super easy plant to grow. This was another plant that I bought for a couple of bucks from a box store, and it just grows like crazy. Every winter, this plant tends to lose 3 or 4 or 5 good-sized branches, and you know, when it starts up again in the spring, I just cut the old branches off, and it provides me with new ones. We have 2 of them. We have another one over here. This fellow here watches over the garden. It's a painting by Chicago artist Anthony Stagg, who did it for us when he was in town. We're coming up to the first imagination station number 1. We had complaints the supernatural beings were calling their counselor, calling the mayor, saying we can't get our mail. What's going on here? So I got them a mailbox, because even pixies and fairies and trolls like to get mail, right? That's what I say. This yard was more or less a blank slate, except that Around it, there was this giant silver maple, and all around here was surrounded by Norway spruce and white spruce. There's some big ones. We found when we moved in here, there was just grass and it wasn't growing very well. So we started to consider how to grow a garden in the shade, how to use different kinds of objects in your garden. Some time ago, that same artist from Chicago was in town, and he and I made out of cement this planter head. We call him the head gardener. This year he got a crown. He thinks he's the king, right? His head's kind of big. That's all I can say. So you can see that this imagination station has gathered many, many different things over the years, including old pots and bits of plants and an old stool, all kinds of stuff. The squirrels have really done a number on the birdhouses back here. It maybe wasn't the best choice of spot for the birdhouses because it seems the squirrels like them too. But that's okay. They got to make a living too, right? There's another imagination station here. And if you follow it, Timbuktu is this way. It's a forested area here in the back. You can walk around it. You got to be a little bit careful here because there's lots of tree roots sticking up. And you can see there's lots of evidence on the ground of various critters, the raccoons, the possums, and the skunks. They all like to dig around for different kinds of grubs. There's the back view of the head gardener there, with the house way in the background. You don't have to go very far back here to kind of get lost back here, and it makes you feel like you're going for a walk in the forest. Sculpture here. I was thinking of those old folk songs about train wrecks. Like train wreck at Elmont or the wreck of the old 97. This is the wreck of the 1060. It came about because I was walking my dog one day and some people up the street threw away all these trains. So I went home and I grabbed my car and a box and brought the trains home and eventually made them into a train wreck sculpture. This was one of the first gardens that we built back here, although the stone wall is a later addition. So I'm hoping that this gives you a taste, a bit of the flavor of our garden. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. I'm going to try to do more gardening videos in the future. They seem to be pretty popular. And in general, I'm going to try to broaden out the content around here. So instead of being rediscovering my Toronto, which I was for a year, now it's just Eugene in Toronto. I feel it gives me license to broaden the content and try some new things. Hey, this is a pressure bench here. When you sit on it, it puts pressure on the legs, which firm up. That was a gift from a friend many years ago. Remember I talked about that nice old stuff store in Jarvis? Well, that's where the trike comes from. Just because it's a shady garden doesn't mean you can't have any sun. Sheila wanted more sun, so I built her one. seem to fill in the need. This Japanese maple right here, I think it's called a Twombly. It's only been in here a couple of years. These are blackberries growing along the ladder to nowhere. Goes up to the sun. And this is another newish Japanese maple. It's only been here a couple years. It seems to be fairly fast growing. This little patio area we put in during the pandemic. Although the barbecue there, the egg, we've had for about 20 years now. Up on the deck, we just use an easy up there for some shade. That orange item up there is a Baltimore Oriole feeder, and we put oranges and Smucker's grape jelly in there, and it looks like we've had 4 constantly coming. They're going to stop coming for the grape jelly pretty soon, and they're going to switch over to bugs to feed the babies. But we just are going to feed them this year until that point. So let's come up the ramp here, and I'll give you a little look at the garden from up here. There used to be a pair of apple trees. When we moved in, the one that was right here was dying, and we took it out. And this one we've just managed to keep as healthy as possible. It's a really big apple tree. We try to keep it pruned away from the house a little bit, keep the critters away. And my wife Sheila commissioned this bunting from a local craftsperson. I think it adds a lot of color and interest here in the garden. We have many birds nest back here, including house sparrows. Baltimore Orioles, we think, are up in the silver maple. We get cardinals nest in the spruces, along with chickadees. There's hairy woodpeckers, downy woodpeckers, both around here. And during migration season, we see all kinds of birds coming through. So that's it for my tour today. I hope that's given you some different views of what we do here. I'm not really great on all the names of the garden plants. I know some of them, others I don't know. We try to do something every year to enhance the garden. For instance, this year we had this crown in another area. I'll show you. The crown used to sit on a big milk bottle. It's not even a Monopoly game. On this milk bottle here, and underneath it, actually, are the ashes of a dog that we had, a Newfoundland dog, Ellie Mae, who was the queen of everything, so she needed a crown. This year, I looked at that crown and I thought, gee, it's starting to get pretty weathered. The crown, of course, came from that same place, nice old stuff. And I painted it up, and we decided that we would make our big head royalty. So that's it. I'd like to film some more gardens. If you have a special garden and you'd like to see a video made of your garden, let me know in the comments. I would be happy in the GTA to shoot some different gardens that people are interested in having up on the interwebs. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer. That's it for now. Peace out. If you're enjoying my little videos, really helps this channel a lot if you would subscribe, and it's free.